So good evening, everyone, and we're back to day two of class. So I'll quickly share my screen before I recap on what we did the last class, and after that, I will um, share the screenshot, or rather, the file of those people that submitted their assignment. Share entire screen. Share. Okay. Um, Please let me know if you can see the screen.
Yes, I can.
All right.
Yes, I
Okay.
can see the screen.
So from first day, we basically just moved around our Excel environment and got acquainted with it for those that probably has never used it before, because like I did mention, Excel can be quite daunting. It's not plain like Microsoft Word where you just click on your keys and you are typing. This one you can't just be typing everywhere on it. It has to be structured. There's always something you're doing in Excel. It's always intentional. It's not really an app you use for just anything. Although Excel can actually be used for everyday life. It can be used as an organizer as well as so many other fantastic things. Okay, so let me see if this. All right, so we did autofill with numbers from our last class. We did some basic formatting of font, text, and colors and so on. And we use things like auto sum and the basic sum function, which we're going to do more of today. We also did data validation. Then we worked on data validation. So let me open the file of those that sent in their work. Um, open. Nancy and Eunice were the two people that sent in theirs. Now, if you notice, some people joined in new, and some of them have, gotten some runnings with Excel before. But the thing is, if you're not using it, it is very easy to forget about it. So when they said they wanted to do it over again, I said, okay, that's fine, and it will even make it more interesting for, like I mentioned, that we would do groupings like accountability groups. And also, please note, if you are in a group and the people you are in a group with are not, they're not putting in the work, please also let me know so that we do something about it. So I need to go to download. Okay, I think all our downloads is in here. Let me extract it out. Okay, okay. Right, so I can go back now and do it again. So I have to check my WhatsApp to see what exactly the assignment entails to remember. Oh, it's nice, bold, colorful. Let's see our class and let me see. Let me check for the assignment where we're asked to do. Okay, I said create a personal expense tracker um, table similar to the one we did. Yeah, this looks very similar. So I see you did merging here, merge and center. And okay, let me check. This looks really nice. Whose one is this? Okay. All right, I see data validation. Okay, data validation is here. Numbers. So let me see. Okay, uh, there's also the currency format there. I can see, and you did the sum. Awesome. So you did the max number and you did the minimum amount. So the highest amount is 5,800 and 1,000. Okay. Now, this just looks very abstract. Like when you see 5,800, like I mentioned in the last class, you start asking yourself, like your boss is saying, so what am I supposed to do with the money? I meant who spends the most. So let's see if today we can get into that. But I'm not going to rush the class, like I said. I'm going to take it one step at a time to make sure that it sinks. One basic thing about this is if you can teach it to someone else, it has sunk. And so yeah, we go on. This is really nice. So let me see the next person's own. Okay. Ah, hey, this is Nancy. Nancy, you've even started doing charts. So you're even doing visualization. Wow, that's good. Okay. All right. So I see merge and center, data validation. Oh, Nancy, you typed in here. You're supposed to do data validation here, but that's fine. This shows me that you know your data validation and you did the sum too. That's fantastic. That's really, really good. Yeah. Okay. I guess this is mine. Yes, this is my own. Can you still hear me? I have to be checking at interval to be sure that I've not been kicked out and if people can still hear me.
I can hear
Yes, I
you.
can hear.
Okay. All right. So still on that personal tracker now. Let me take this off and open another one. So in Excel, if I want to do a lot of work, I don't need to be clicking Control N like in Microsoft Word and be opening a lot of files. Excel has basically sheets. It's a combination of different sheets. So I'm just going to click here and open different sheets. Now there's another funky thing Excel does that I like. Now see, I have these two different sheets here. However, I want to have Nancy as well as Eunice sheet on this particular is that network worrying me? I want to have them here too with me. I don't want to be going back and forth. Now there's something I'm going to practically teach you. Say you're working in an organization and who knows, you probably are using Excel and you have tons of sheets and you want to work in a different file, on a different file, and you actually need some of those sheets, but not all of them. There's something called copy and paste, or rather, from one of those, your Excel documents, you can actually just move to other documents that are also open. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Let me open the other person's own. They're still open. This is Nancy's own. I like Nancy's own. Now I want to copy it. So it's showing sheet one here. I'm going to rename this sheet and just call it Nancy. I'm doing that by double clicking on where I have sheet one. Once you double click on it, you can rename it. Now I've called this Nancy. So what I want to do is I want to um I hope this thing is not freezing. Please don't freeze. Okay. So I'll do what I did again. I right clicked on my mouse, it brought this out, and then you see move or copy. Click on move or copy. Now I want to actually copy this to my own
We can't hear you.
and it's not here. So I'll click on this drop down it's named
Your voice is breaking. We can't hear you clearly.
you said?
Your voice, it was
Is
breaking.
it breaking? Is it breaking now?
No, it's better now.
Okay. So I was saying, assuming I think we're about 13 or they're about in the group now. Let's say 13 of us are working on different documents, and we all send each other, or rather we send one person all our books, Excel called the collection of sheets books. And when I open it, I see you have like 10 sheets in yours, but I don't need the entire 10 sheets. I just need one. Instead of coming here to click on file, open, I won't do that, because the problem with this click on file open is that when I open it as a file, it opens as a different document entirely. But what I'm doing now is that I want everything in this my one book. I want everything here. So I'm going to go to Uni's own and do the same exact thing. This is mine. Which one is this? This is the one I just copied. So I want. Okay, so this is Uni's own, and I'm going to name it Uni's. Hello, I'm in class. Okay, thank you. Good. So I'm going to call this Eunice. I know has what I'm collecting. And then do the same thing. Can you hear me? Please confirm you can hear me and my voice is not breaking. Oh
I
boy.
can hear you.
Okay, okay. All right. So same thing I did. I'll right click, go to move or copy. And I've told you the reason I am creating a copy. If I do not create a copy, it's going to move this entirely from this sheet. Now it's asking me to which book. If I want to move this to Nancy's book, I'll click on Nancy and it will copy to Nancy's book. But I want to move it to my own book, which I think I named them class one. And then I'm saying move to the end. And I just do that and it's open here. So you see I have it. And you can also move them. See, my sheet two is empty. Assuming I want Nancy to be close to, let me call this Gina. Assuming I want Nancy to be close to Gina, all I have to do is click on it and carry it and just move it like that. Click on this and just carry it and move it like that. So those are that's an extra thing you can do with Excel. It's very, very fantastic, the ability for us to do that. So I'm going to copy some of these things and just do something different. We did Control C, Control V, Control Z, Control V. All right. So I will be changing. Okay, I've changed that so it looks different. And just going to call this day 2 of data analysis class. Now, if you notice, this particular column is showing ash, 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 ash. There's nothing wrong with it. There is nothing wrong with it. What it means is that the cell size is too small to accommodate the figures that are written on it. It also tells me that I need to expand it. So all I have to do is just drag this and you see I can see everything now. All right. Okay, so seeing that we'll be doing some other different things today, and we're going to expand this our data set more. Okay, all right. So I want to create a lot of space between this Gina and this total. I'm just going to insert. See, insert. You can actually insert new column, new rows, insert, but I want to insert more, and that's so I'm going to do this. Insert. So you see what happened when I selected 3 and clicked on insert, inserted exactly 3. So if I want, say I have like 6 now, I think I have 6, yes, 6, and I want 6 more, I'll select all of them, right click and click on insert. Okay, it has, drag this to the bottom. All right, so let's go. So I need names, please. I need people to supply me names. I want to fill this in with other names. Thinking we have Emmanuel on our group. We have Mohammed.
Mohammed.
Mm, we have I think we have Mrs. Victoria, if I'm not mistaken, her name in that group. Sorry. Um, I've done something. Who else do we have there? Let me see if I can remember all the people we have there. Oh, we have Dorcas. I did not put Dorcas's name. We have Dorcas. We have, did I add? Yes, I added her. All right, I need more names. I just need more names. Just give me any name you can think of. We have someone using your village people. I don't know what's your village people stand for. I was looking at the group. Let me say Patrick, Favor, um,
Joy.
Joy. See, I want to do something. I want to add insert Control Z. I want to add it here. But I want to do something else. This is say. Let me call change this to um first name and just call this surname. But I want to have, let's say we have more than one person answering the same name. Let's say we have another favor here. Let's say we have Rookie. Let's say we have Sammy or Patrick. Okay. Let's say we have all this. Now I still want the what's it called to fill. So I'm just going to drag this here. As I drag it here, see it fills it 111. For those of you that were not in the other class and maybe didn't see this, now it has auto filled it, but it filled it with just that 1111. So all I have to do is click on here and say fill series. So it now fills it as a series, and we have 19 names so far. So good. Um, okay. I don't know why Nancy is showing like that, so I want to copy. Okay, I've done that. Who knows what I just did now? What it's called? Who remembers it from the last class? I just did something that we did the last time. Hello, anybody there?
I can't remember, but I think I remember what you did, but I don't know what it's called.
It's called the Format Painter. This is it here. Format Painter. So if I like the font and all the edits that have been done on something, I'll click on the particular one that I want to um, replicate, and then click on like select this. Let me go back, Control Z, so that it's showing like this. Assuming it was Uni's own I want to replicate, I'll click on Uni's first. I'll click on Uni's, then click on the Format Painter before I click on anything else. You see, it has changed Grace to look like Uni's, but I do not want Grace to look like Uni's. I actually want Uni's to look like Grace. So which means I can pick anybody's own and just do this. And the minute I do that, you see that the my cursor has changed. It's as if there's a paint icon close to it, and I click on Unis. So this particular entire row, I want it to be bold. I want it to be um, okay. I want the font to be a little bigger. Okay, so that's in our faces. You can all see it now, and that's fine. Okay, so I'm just going to be adding any names at random. Um, Uniscoca, Nancy, Adele, Peter, Patrick. I'm just thinking of name. Sawyer, Grace, Chinedu, Peter, Olamide, um, Gracious. And I'm tired of writing. Just going to copy all this name and paste here. Okay. So let me take the first three. How many names do I have left? Four. Let me take four. Copy, paste. Okay. So I've done that and that's fast. All right. So I have my data validation everywhere here. And this one, all I have to do is select. Did I not put my data validation here? Something is okay, something is wrong, and I'm going to tell you what's wrong. Now, notice what's happening. When I click on it, it's showing blank. You know why it's showing blank?
It's because of data visualization.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, the issue why it's showing blank is that remember that I actually copied the male and female somewhere in a box here, in one of these cells. But when I started this class, I selected it, like I highlighted it, and I deleted it. So what has happened now is that this data validation that I added here, when I was going to put data validation, I did not type into it. I actually selected some cells, which means I told Excel, always go and check what is in that cell. Anything you see there is what you will put. You get it? So now that I've deleted it, Excel is going there and Excel is not finding anything. So Excel is showing me a blank. That's one thing about Excel. It basically, the message you send it, that's the message it will go. Go and buy me soap, it will buy you soap. So you need to give Excel detailed and constructive information that you want it to do for you. Whatever you want it to do for you, it will do for you, but you have to tell it what you want it to do for you. I presume that it's going to be the same thing for this too. Let's see. See, it's blank. Because even where I put state, I also took out the states. So which means I have to come here now and write male, female, other. Okay. And then I have to redo it again. I have to select all these parts where I want it to be done. I'll go to data. All right. Go text to column data validation. It's already saying as now. If you notice, these cells are already highlighted, as you can see. The cells are still showing, but there's nothing on those cells. So I'll click on this again and I'll select this. That this is my new cell. Go here, don't go to the former place. And I click like this. And if I do this now, you will see it. Now for, let me put delta here. I'm gonna remove this. Cancel. Um, Delta, Port Harcourt, Lagos, Edo. I don't know. Maybe which other state can I put here? Which other state? Any state I can put here. Cross River. Okay, I think this is fine. Oh, I need a northern state. Let's say Kano. All right. So same thing I'll do here. Now I'll come and select everything here and go to data validation, change. You see, that was where it was before, but I've moved it. So I'm going to select from here to here. So that's where I wanted to get the new one from. Click OK, and I'm done. With this being done, let me hide this. With this being done, I can now oh, why is Coca showing like this? So I have to do format painter, change Coca. Okay, good. Eunice is female, obviously. Female, female. And while we are still on this, one thing I want to say is that the next, I sent a link just now. It is fine if you feel like you don't want to do data analysis as time goes on. It is very, very okay. There are so many other tracks that you can do, which is why I sent that link. Whether you're a man or a woman, you can just join and hear what they are going to say. Just listen to them talk about the different tracks that are there. Find something you like and key into it, and just you know key into it, because right now I think um we are having a lot of advantages currently, especially on this side of the world, in Africa and in Nigeria right now. There's a lot of opportunities, tech opportunities that in terms of training, opening up itself. That might not be so in some few years to come. So I would admonish that we all, you know, try and get as much information as we can from whatever. Before I decided I was going to do data analysis, I actually tried to see if I could fit into UI UX. It just did not capture me as much as this one captured me. You get it? It didn't. So it's fine. Don't feel like, oh, whatever I've started now, I have to finish it. No, you do not have to finish it. No knowledge is wasted. Um, Before I got into this tech for dev fellowship, I'm doing data science and I actually did data analysis course in a different firm, paid for it, and then I also took tech for dev boot camp for data analysis. After that, while waiting, when I didn't even know if I was going to get into the data science, as a matter of fact, that time I didn't even know there was anything called data science. I still took a software development course. So yes, um, I might not be able to build a big website, but I can build my own website. I can build something that would even be dynamic. So that knowledge is not wasted. No knowledge is wasted. Are you getting it? And which is why when I was planning to do this, I said, let me not do it off heart and just be doing what I feel like I need to do. I needed structure. I needed a plan. You get it? And I needed something I did not have when I was actually taking my course. They were as fantastic as they were, they did not prepare me per se for the job market, because this data analysis thing that you're learning, it's not for fancy. It's not to learn how to create fanciful visualizations. No, 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 no. There's something I learned from my class, because earlier today, around from 10 to I think 2, I had a data science class. My instructor is Indian, and he said if you cannot explain your visuals to a 6-year-old child, you have not actually done anything. And the most stressful part of data analysis is all these things that we're beginning to learn: how to format, how to clean data, how to model data. And moving on, I think I also wrote it there that I would teach us LinkedIn optimization, and maybe how to work on GitHub and documentation. Oh, yes, that's one thing that we were not taught in my place where I learned. Documentation is key. You see, if this was a real data set that I was working on, everything I'm doing here, I have to be documenting it too. From, oh, I got my data from here. The first thing I did was to correct all the spellings. Everything you are doing, you are taking it down. Why are you taking it down? Because you will write about it when you are putting out your data. So that even if you are not there and you applied for a job with a portfolio. The company comes there and they see all the things you're doing. They can say, oh, okay, so this person actually knows how to clean. This is what this person has done, and this is what the person has not done, and all those other things. So this October, we'll see how it will be till December, because that's the target I actually set this up about 3 months, and we see how it goes. If I have anywhere I know that there's free certification courses, I will still push them your way. If Tech for Dev program begins, I will still push them your way, so that it's never too much. You learn. If I have any Udemy course like the one I sent in today, I will push them your way. However, I need you to be very, very what's the word now? I can't even remember the word. But what I just mean is up and doing. If you see me send any link to that class, like don't even waste time, because most of them, in fact, all of them I'll probably send there are free. But this is the problem with those free ones. The coupons could be free for only the first 20 people that uses it. So if you are not among those 20 people, you've lost it. You will not have to pay. And I don't, at this stage, people are not making money from this thing. I don't want anybody to pay. All right. That being said, I think we can continue. So I'm just going to randomly be picking states and apportioning states. You would understand later why I'm giving all these states at random to these people. Let me have another Edo here, Edo here, Cross River. I say this person is from Kano and Lagos. Okay. What happened? Did I not put my data value? That's strange. Lagos. Okay. Delta. If there's any issue like you can't hear me or anything, send on the WhatsApp group. I would I will look out for it. Delta. Okay, I think I filled it. Now let's see. Let me see whether it affects. Okay, it affects here. So nobody actually spends this. Let's say this person spends 8,000. Now I'm going to be putting figures at random, since this entire row has been formatted to Nigerian currency. That's why the money is being added. I don't want those 1,200, 5,000. Okay. Let's say this person likes entering Uber and is spending a whooping 12,000. This one goes somewhere close to the house, doesn't spend much. Let's say this one in Kano treks to the office and spends 500. You know, Sami Cross River, I don't know how much these people would spend on regular. Um, Edo State, let's say 4,000. This one 2,000. Okay, so something is okay. All right, so make this bolder and even make it bigger because it's total. So why not? All right. So this is a total of the amount of money that everyone on this list spends weekly. Okay. The last time we did sum, that was how we got this. The sum is still there. We did the minimum figure and we did the maximum figure. So functions that we've used sum, we've used mean, we've used max. Now for today, I want to add to this. I want us to use some if and some ifs. I will explain all this, and I think if we still have time and everyone understands this, we can do VLOOKUP. And do VLOOKUP too. Okay, I think if we can grab this, then it's good. Okay, so now we have gotten this is a data set. This is a fantastic data set. It has text, it has number, it even has location. Okay, it has location. And there's something we can do with location, but I'm not going to go into it now. When we get to that place or that bridge, we will cross it. So let's say I have how many states do I have? Let me copy. Okay, I already have states here. Let me call this states weekly TP. Okay. So what I want to do now on this particular place is I want to check for states as in a total sum of money that everyone in Delta State is spending. I want to know practically, I want to know for sure which state spends the most amount of money weekly from this our list. Can anybody hear me? Can you people still hear me if I
Yes, I can hear
continue?
you.
Okay, all right. Let me see if there's anyone here that I've not added. Okay, that's fine. I can continue. So what I want to do now is so I can cancel this and save, and I can also cancel this and save. So I have just this. So what I actually want to do right now is find out which state spends the most weekly transport from this. So I'm going to use something called sum if and sum ifs. Um, for me to use sum if and sum ifs, so I want to use states here and I want to use gender. I want to use gender here. Let me copy this and paste here because I don't want to do the work again. All right. Now for the sum if I do just sum is going to add everything, right? Now sum if, like the word if, it's a conditional statement. It's me saying, Excel, I want you to calculate the total only if this person is from this state. Ideally, you're supposed to have the states you want to work with and so on and so forth. But since I already have my states here, that's good to go. So remember I told you if you were going to write any function in Excel, you always start with equals to. And then I click on SU and IntelliSense brings out the rest. Now if I click on sum, if see is what it says. Say add the cells specified by a given condition or criteria. It adds the cells. It will only add those cells that have been specified by the condition that you gave. So let's select it. Now, the beautiful thing about this thing is that Excel is going to actually tell you what to do. Now, look at the range. If I click on range, say assuming I don't even know my range. If I click on range, why isn't it showing here? Show. Oh, man. Okay, that's fine. Doesn't matter anyway. So I'm going to select everything as range. There's something I will tell you later about this thing I'm doing, and then I will redo it. I am going to select everything here as my range. That's my whatever, my cell. Then I'll put a comma. Now it's asking for the criteria I want to use it. I want to use for it. I'm saying, okay, from this table that I gave you, I want you to look for delta states. And put a comma. It's asking me for um sum range. So I will practically select here something. This is not going to work, but I'm going to do it. Let's see, and click on enter. I said it's not going to work. It's not going to work because of this range. Now the range, you're supposed to give it where you want it to pick your state from, but I gave it the entire data. So we're going to go again. Equals to, now if I do not want to edit from here, please look at where you have this. This is called the function or formula bar. So I'm going to select this and come here to select this. Right, let's see, enter. Do you see what happened now? Now it has calculated it for me. So I'm going to just practically delete everything and take out the formula so it's blank, and then I will take this again to explain. What I want to do is to calculate the total of everyone that is living in Delta State. Say this is a firm and the company is saying, okay, Nancy, okay, Eunice, or okay, Mohammed, we have people working for us in different states, and some of our staff are beginning to complain due to the um, recent hike in fuel, that their transportation has increased. However, we do know that some states still have relatively low cost of living. Can you run an analysis and find out which state actually spends the most? Let's see if we are going to maybe turn our work into a hybrid. Maybe they work more from home as remote staff than them coming into the office. While those still living in states where they don't spend much transport can keep coming to the office. So what you do your equals to, like I said, then you pick your sum if. Now the difference between sum if and sum ifs is that for sum if, you are telling it only one thing to search for. In this case, we want it to search only for states. So when I click on it, this bracket is opened. You see it is open. It's asking me for range. Now range simply means this criteria you want to give to me, where can I find this criteria? So I'll come to under state of residence and select everything under state of residence, telling it that, oh, if you go to this row, you will find every body's state, because I want to give you state. Then once I put a comma, if you notice, it is now criteria that is highlighted. So the criteria is asking me, okay, so if I go to this highlighted data that you have selected for me, or this selected range that you gave to me, what do you want me to look for? I'm like, okay, go and look for delta. I'll click on delta where I have the delta, and I put a comma, and the next thing it moves to is the sum range. So sum range is like, okay, you want me to go to where you have state of residence and look for delta. Okay, I will do that. Now, where am I going to get their transport that you want me to add? Then I'll select the sum range. This is it. And once I select that, I will close the bracket and press enter. And you see it has automatically calculated it for me. So I want to format this. So I want to format everything here so that it's showing Naira. Format cells, currency. I don't want dollar. I want to use my money. Even though I'm hoping that my money will stop falling the way it's falling. Don't just know. Okay, I've done that now. So I'm going to do the same thing for Port Harcourt now. You see, since we're going to do it for um, all these states, I didn't really need to do it for all these states, but I'm just going to show you what I'm doing. Equals to sum if range. Select this, put a comma, criteria, Port Harcourt, put a comma, sum range, this, and close, and it does the same thing for me. Applaud it, say well done. However, why do I need to be doing all this? Except I want to show everything. Otherwise, I can as well add a data validation here. So you see, I'm going to select this, or rather, no, yeah, I'm going to select all these parts where I have the state. I'll come to data validation, list, click here, and then I'll come here and select it again because I already have everything I want there. And just click this and click OK. So now I've added data validation, right? I want to make this bigger because I want to show you something. It's not magic, but Excel just simply has a way of making life easier. So this is Delta state. Instead of me typing and writing codes up and down, left and right, center, what I should do now is if I should do this, it should change. You see, when I do this, once I change the state, it automatically changes the amount for me. Do you get that? Before before I go on.
Sorry, can I ask something?
Okay.
I don't know how you got your sum if, because when I
Okay.
entered equals to, I was lost. I was not seeing anywhere I could actually type my sum if. I don't know where
See, all right. So
you
see,
actually
on that
type
same
that.
cell, once you click on your equals to,
Okay.
start typing the first letters of what you are looking for. So I'll type SU. Once I type SU, to bring all this for me. You see your sum if you
Oh, yes.
you see it.
Yes, I've seen it.
Okay. So now, why did I, let me minimize this again? Speak. So the reason I did this is because sometimes, at a glance, you just want to have an idea of exactly what's happening. I don't really want to be typing this and type this, I'll come here, I'll type code, I'll come here, I'll type code, the same code over and over and over again. No, 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 no. I don't need to do that. All I have to do is just change this. You see, once I change it, it changes this also. That's for some if something, just straightforward. So okay, since we have different states, so what I want to do, another thing I'd like to do is do this. All right. So when I dragged, it automatically reflected the same code I've written here everywhere I dragged it to. Don't worry if it looks like, oh, what did she do? They don't bother. We're going to do this over and over and over again. It will become like second skin to you, become so easy. Hmm? So with this, since the formulas are all here, I can now change this. I want to change the different states so that they are different and Edo. Do I have Port Harcourt here? I'm gonna see my Port Harcourt here. Oh, that was my fault. Oh. Okay, Edo, Lagos, Cross River, Kano. How many do I have here? One, two, three, four, five, six. I mean, I actually had six. I have Edo, Lagos, Cross River, Kano, Port Harcourt, and Delta is what's missing. Okay. Wait, meeting. Lagos. Okay. So I'm going to come here and redo my data validation again. Okay. Here too, I will change my data validation to, okay. All right, so that's done. So I can now change here to Delta and make this. Where was I not seeing the other time? I think Port Harcourt. Okay. So at a glance, I can see that Lagos State takes the cake. Lagos State spends a lot of money. So when they say data-driven decision, this is what we are talking about. Um, you be like, okay, since we have people in Lagos spending way more, let's make it half of the week you work remotely and the other half you come to the office to cut down your transport. And you can say, but those in Port Harcourt, please keep coming because you're not spending so much. That's for some if it's easy, it's straightforward. If your system is open, is anyone here working on their system with me at the same time?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so let me know if you've done it and it has worked for you, then I can move on. Welcome, doctors.
Yes, it actually worked for me, but where I got lost was after getting my range, I got my criteria, and then
Okay,
2020.
so what was the issue? Let me take this one out and say I'm doing this one again. So you did your equals to sum if.
Hmm. I took my range as Lagos State, like the states.
No. That cannot be your range. That's your criteria, not your range. Your
Okay,
range is the entire place. Everywhere where you have that data, just drag all the states you have in that your data, like I did mine.
okay,
Then put a comma.
okay. So what's my criteria?
Now your criteria is the Lagos state. Look for where you have Lagos state and click on it. Make sure you have it. Say I have Port Harcourt here, just like I have Port Harcourt here. Now click on Port Harcourt. You see it. Click on the cell where you have Port
Hmm.
Harcourt. Then put a comma again. It will now ask you for your sum range. Select the
Okay,
entire
which is
place where
the
you have your sum range,
transportation.
and it should work like that for you. Has it worked?
Yeah, I'm coming. Still working on it. Yes, it worked.
Okay, awesome. Now,
Mm.
a lot of all this typing and everything we do, it's not needed. So I think I'll quickly want to teach that part now before we move on to other functions. You see, I'm here, I'm coming here, I'm selecting, I'm coming here, I'm dragging. I don't want to do that. You can actually do all those from just one cell in Excel. From here, I can do everything. And how you can do that is that first of all, you need to make this entire thing into a table. You see where you have yourself from your serial number to your weekly transport. Convert it to a table. How do you convert it? Select everything like I've done like this, drag your mouse select and press Control T on your keyboard. Once you press on Control T, it brings you this dialog table. It's asking you where is the data for your table, but you've already selected it. Assuming you've not selected it, you can now go and select it. Let's assume I don't want to select it. I just do Control T, like I'll just do Control T, my Control T. It brings it for me, and I now click on these parts, and I don't want everything there. I just want all this. So you see, it's now select exactly what I've given to it. So yes, you can select before you do the dragging, or you can drag before you select and then do this. Now, my table, does it have headers? Yes, it has headers. It has headers because my headers are my serial number, first name, surname, gender, and all those things. Assuming my table does not have headers, I'll just leave this place blank. Because if I leave it blank now, what's going to happen is that Excel is going to add headers for me by itself. And that's not going to be nice. Let me show you what it will look like. See what has happened? Excel has come here to add column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. I did not ask, I don't want that, I already have. So I will select all this. I can add extra places if I want to, and do the Control T. Click on yes, I'll click on this box that says my table has headers and click on OK. Control Z, I selected the column. Yeah, Control T. Okay, so that's done. Notice what has happened. It has automatically rearranged for me. It has given it cell colors and all the other fancy things that Excel can do. Now, please note that I can also change this table formatting. See, we have a lot of formatting here. Are you seeing it? If you do not like the formatting, you can select any formatting of your choice. Excel allows you to change. You can change. You have that liberty. You have liberty to change whatever you don't like. If you don't like it, you just change it and anything changes. So that's it. If you want it to be dark like this or like this or anything in between, you know, you want it to look fun. Maybe you're working for a firm that has um what do we call that, corporate colors, like official colors. Say I'm working with Facebook, for example, I think I should be using something like this, something bluish like this and other things. So yeah, can do. Okay, this is fine. All right. So having done this now, I'm going to clean everything I have here. I'm deleting it like I want to start again typing these codes. I hope I'm still being heard.
Yes.
Okay, great. Right. So I want to start again. Same thing. Weekly TP, which is transport, equals to some SU, and I get my sum if. Now, when he asks me for range, oh, sorry. When you change your, when you make your data into a table, please name it. See what, if I click on this now, see table design. My table is showing as table 3, and I don't want it to be table 3. Let's say, let's call it data class. Please do not put any space in between when you're creating your table. Do not accept it. And I click on OK. So my table name is now data class. All right. I will show you why it is needed. Uh, I'd like us to know this early on before we go into start learning, more fanciful functions and whatnot. Because with this, you can be on Nancy or on Eunice or on Gina and still work on this table. You can call it anywhere because now you know that the name is called data class. So I'll do equals to again. Hmm, divide equals to sum if. Now it's asking me for range. The range is on my table called data class. So you see, the minute I type DA on my system, Excel showed me the table I have created called data class. Now I will double click on it so that it enters. Now it's not the entire table I want to select. Remember the first time I did that, I selected the entire table, it did not work. I only want state of residence. So since I've selected my table, the only way for me to see my column names, or yeah, my column names on my table, is to use this what do we call it now, this cancel. my backspace on my whatever is not working. It's just frustrating. Data class is to use this square bracket. My square bracket is on my keyboard is after my P, my letter P. I don't know where it will be on yours. It looks like this, a square bracket. The minute I click on my square bracket, see what has happened. You can see my serial number, first name, surname, gender, basically everything you have here. You can see them. Now it might not look like what's the special thing about this. It might not look like it now. The thing is, when you start working on large amounts of data, say you have a data set on Excel that has about 1 million cells, you don't want to be scrolling up, scroll 1 million times. I'll be scroll 1 million cells to get what you need. All you need is wherever you are, you call it in. Remember what I did? I did equals to sum if like I did the first time. But instead of selecting or dragging the state of residence myself, I typed the first letters of my table name, what I named it. Once I selected my table, I opened or entered the square bracket. Now from the square bracket, I know what I'm looking for is state of residence, so I'll select it. You see? And close it and do comma. So you see it has selected. It means I closed it. You see it selected it. You can see it on my screen that there's this blue line surrounding it. Then I put a comma. Now the comma is it's asking me for range or rather criteria. My criteria in this case is Edo State, right? And I'll put comma. Now it's asking me for sum of range again. I don't want to type anything, so I'll put that same thing I did before. Data. When I select it, I put my square bracket, and this time I will collect weekly transport. I will close my square bracket and finally close my normal bracket. So you see, I did not have to come here to do anything at all. I just did everything from this K13. That's all I worked on. K13. I did everything there. So let's drag this and see if it works. Oh, it works fantastically like we did before. So if you were following me step by step or whatever I'm doing, turn your, let me see if there's any new person. Yes, there's someone in Faith is back. Hello, Nancy. Have you been following? Did you hear what I was saying before?
I missed some parts, but it's not a problem. I can always go back to the video, the recorded class.
Okay, that's fine. All right. Okay, so yeah, you can always go back to the recorded class, which time I'm going over it again and again. So whoever is also watching it can see if they make a mistake, they can go back. Okay, so that's what I did. Now for gender, um, let me do this Control X, paste it. Uh, on merge cells, good. Control X, Control V. All right, I've pasted that there. Here, I want to put data validation. I want to put data validation of male or female, and you see what I want to use it for. List, and this is it. Okay, so that I can always be changing it like the way I was changing the state. Now, say here I want to see between men and women who actually spends the most on transport for the week. I will come here where I still have those states. I'm just doing it there. Do equals to sum if. Remember, I'm still doing sum if. Sum if means I'm giving it only one condition, one, not multiple. And say data class. After my data class, remember it's a square bracket you use to call it in. This time I am not using state of residence, I'm using gender because I want to check with gender. So I click on gender. Once I close the square bracket, it selects gender for me. Then I'll select where I have my, after my comma, my criteria, I'll select where I have my female here. Another comma, data class. You see with this, it becomes very, very easy. And now I select weekly transport because that's where money is. And I close and enter. Wow. Female spend 33,700 now. So you see, to make it easy, see where data validation is very, very sweet. Once I change it to male, it shows me that males spend 33,200, and for other, they spend 0 naira, because on this data set, we did not actually attribute the gender order to any other person. So from this, we can see that the females spend more, but not so much. I would have assumed that the females will be spending less because, someone should have been subsidizing. We should be taking care of. Is that not right? But the females on this list are independent women. They are spending their money. They are spending more self. Wow, wow. Alpha female, bravo. So what we are doing already right now is analysis. Just this small data, fake data sets that we created, we are already analyzing and drawing some insights from it. From this, we can confidently say, oh, from this data that we have, the people in Lagos spend more on transport, and surprisingly, people in Edo spend the next highest amount of fee before you have Cross River. Port Harcourt actually spends the least. Now, you can draw even more insights by asking yourself, how many people actually are in Lagos or Port Harcourt or something. To do that, I'm going to teach us something. I don't think I wrote it here. They call it count if. We also have counts. Okay. No, counts. No count if. I already have count if there. We have count if, count ifs, even if we do not finish it today. I will try and see if I can finish it today because we have oh, even if I don't finish today it's fine because today is Saturday and we are meeting again on Monday. So that's all good. That's all good and nice. So wherever we stop, that's fine. We are on some if now, and I'm still going to do some if. Okay, now I think I'm done with some if. I wanted to go to some ifs, but I feel like I should do count if because on analyzing data, is it fair to say people in Port Harcourt are not spending as much as those in Lagos? Hmm. It's possible that they are spending more, but it's also possible that the reason their amount is small is because we have more people in Lagos than in Port Harcourt. So because of that, to get even way more insight, I'm going to do something called count if. Now the count function does what the name says, it just counts for you. But when I put if like a condition, it simply means I'm telling it what to count and what not to count. So in this case now I'm going to do equals to count. So you see the minute I put count, IntelliSense brings out a lot of the options. So I'm clicking on count if. It's asking me for range. All right. And I do not want to go to that table and select anything. So my range will be I want to count based on states. So state of residence, close state of residence, and my criteria is Edo State here. And then I close this and I do this. So you see, we have 3 people in Edo State. Now let me drag this down. Oh wow. Are you people still there? This house is very quiet and I want to be sure I'm not speaking to myself. Are we still here?
Yes, I'm following.
Okay, so can you now see that it wasn't really right before to say, oh, Lagos actually spends more. So assuming as the data analysis of this company, you've gone to tell Oga, pé Oga, see, people in Lagos are spending like more than double the amount of anybody in other states. Oga has now said, oh, that's so alarming. Okay, people in Lagos State, out of the 6 days, I don't know, or maybe 5 days. I think people go to work on Saturday. I can't say. Let's say 5 days that you come to work. 3 days you are going to work from your home remotely, and you come to work only for 2 days. And then people in other states are saying, Oga, why now? And the Oga is like, no, people should not say anything right now. You do not have the moral capacity to say anything. Can't you see how much people are spending? And then someone says, the person might not even be a data analyst. The person could just say, but Oga, do you even know if the people there are even more than us? Like if you compare by average, you know if they are more than us. And the Oga will be like, that's true. Let's go back and check. They should not be saying let's go back and check when you are a data analyst in a firm. You should anticipate what they will need. So in this case now, I am ready with all my data. I will say, Oga, we only have 3 people in Edo State and they are spending 9,000. So on an average, this person is spending 3,000. This is me without even going to the data set. I don't even need to bother. I say, but in Lagos, there are 6 people. So 26 divided by 6, 6, 12, 18, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. I don't want to do that calculation, sha. But you get the picture. But I still want to do the calculation. 6, 12, 18, 24. That's about 4,000 plus. Each person is spending 4,000 plus. Each person in Edo is spending 3,000 plus. Each person in Cross River is just two. Each person in Cross River is spending 4,400. What this means is that people in Cross River State are actually the ones spending the most transport. People in Cross River are spending way more than people in Lagos per individual person. People in Kano are even spending more than people in Lagos per individual transport. So ideally now, if the firm is going to ask anybody to stay back, it should be people in Cross River and people in Kano, not even people in Lagos. The uproar about people in Lagos staying back was because we saw the accumulative transport fare and be like, oh, it's a lot. But see what Count Heave has helped us do. Count Heave has now shown us that this 9,000 is for 3 people. This 26,500 is for 6 people. This 8,800 is for 2 people. So you have a better idea of how it goes. And for this gender, what I've done is, let me even extend it. Oh, because I didn't select it. Oh, okay. Mm, Control Z Z. I don't even have the strength to do all those one. I can just do everything from here. Let's say Edo Mills, Delta Mills. Say no put this thing here. Oh, my bad. I actually did some if, that means I only gave you one criteria, but I've been checking for 2 criterias. Wahala ó pọ̀ jù. Okay, I've done mean, some max, some if, count ifs, count if rather. So I want to do some ifs now. That was where this thing, blah, I don't want just some. Now I want to do some ifs. Ifs with plural ifs. It means I want to give it more than one condition. Now this is the condition I want to give to it. Uh I want to know the amount that is being spent from each state according to gender. In other words, I want to know which gender spends more money from each state. This means that I'm going to tell Excel that only add if the person is from a certain state and the person is a male or a female. Don't worry, it's not as complicated as that. All you have to do is put your equals to sign again. Remember your SU. So this time I will not pick some if, I will pick some ifs. Now you see what it says. It says add the cell specified by a given set of conditions or criteria. It has now made it plural. So I'll click on this now. It says give me the sum range. Okay. Now sum range data class. Now it's asking you for sum range. Oh, it's not asking you for range like before when you just said range. This time it means I need my weekly transport, and I'll close that. Remember, is a square bracket. Put a comma. See what it's asking me now. You say, what is your first criteria? My first criteria here now is delta state, which is the state. I'll put a comma. Excel says, what is your second criteria? Now, my second criteria is where I have female here. And those are the only two criteria I want to give it. Please note that you can have more than two criteria. Okay, you can have someone from the state, a local government, and so many other things. It is so easy. See what it was, just some ifs. um Remember I told you to actually save your data as a table. So I entered my table and I selected the column that holds my figures, that holds the weekly transport. After that, and I put a comma, all I have to do is start selecting criteria one after the other. Now I'm done, and then I'm going to click enter. Value, what did I not give it? Let's see. I gave it some range. I gave it um, okay. No, I'll take this one out. So I'm back to some range. I did not give it criteria range. I just told it delta. I did not tell it where it was going to find delta. So back to data class again. My first criteria range is state of residence, and the criteria that I wanted to look for under that is delta. I'll put a comma. Then my second criteria is female. Like I said, this time I want it to go and look for female under gender. Don't worry, I would remove everything here and do it again so that you understand it. I think this should work now. Oh yeah, it has worked. Now if I change this to male, the figure changes. So I am going to redo this again so that you would see what I did. So I've erased it, and I'm going to practically just make my screen bigger so you can see everything I'm doing. All right. Now I do not need to see you can notice now from my screen that you're not even seeing the entire data set. I don't need it. All I need is my table name. That is why naming your table or having a table to work with is very, very important. I was going to leave table to another week, but I just thought about it. Since we are learning functions, I want to teach us early on, and I don't want us going back and forth, scrolling back and forth. No. So I'll tell you the idea behind what I'm doing right now. I want Excel to help me calculate the amount of transport that is spent from each state based on gender. I want to know, in other words, which gender spends more from all these states. Because I've said I needed to check for gender and I needed to check for state, I can no longer use sum if, because if is just one criteria, which is what we did here. The sum if, I said, oh, go and add every Delta state you find. Go and add every Lagos state you find. Go and add every Cross River. Now, what I'm saying is go and add Delta state and also add the males in Delta state. Or if I change this by data validation, I'm telling it go and add the females in Delta state. Good. So to do this, same process, always start with the equals to sign. And once you click on the SU, it will bring a lot of these things for you. You want to select some ifs because you want to give it more than one criteria. Okay. So the first thing it will ask you Don't bother. Anytime you pick a function, Excel tells you what to expect. Now it's telling you sum range, and sum has to do with figures, not text, which means it needs where it's going to get that money that I want it to total for me. So, like I told you, I'm not going back to Egypt. I'm going to select my table. I've selected my table, but I need my column. And to get your column from a table, just click on your square bracket. It comes out. So I'm saying weekly transport is where it's coming from. Please always close your square bracket. You see, the color has changed. After doing that, I put a comma. The next thing, it has moved to criteria range for your first criteria. The first criteria I want you to select for me is where I have state. So again, I will go to my table. So you see how this makes it easy now, other than going back and forth. Open the square bracket, select state of residence, close my square bracket, comma. It has moved from criteria range 1, it has moved to criteria 1, which means, oh, you want me to add using this. You want me to add money from this place, and you want me to go check for something in your criteria range 1, which is state of residence. What do you want me to check for? Check for Delta State. Then I put a comma. It immediately jumps to criteria range 2, which means, oh, but you told me you want me to add using more than one conditions. What is the column where I have to check for your second conditions? So I'll tell it, oh, I need to go to my data class table and check under my gender. Close your gender. And when you get to gender, please look for female. And I am going to close the bracket because I do not have any more criteria for it. If I have more criteria, I would add more. And then I click enter. And it says immediately that, oh, of this 8,900 that is spent weekly in Delta State, the females spend 3,500. I'm like, oh, really? Okay, what about the males? And it says, oh, the males spend 5,400. Let me see if this is going to just carry on. I don't know why it's not carrying on. I know why it's not carrying on, but I don't have that strength for it. I'm supposed to do something called cell locking. But I don't even need it. The reason I don't need it is the same reason I did data validation here before. So let's go again. Females are spending 3,500, males are spending 5,400. So we have three people in Delta State, and the males in Delta State are spending 5,400, while the women are spending 3,500. Okay, let's go to another state. Let's move to Edo. In Edo, there are three people, and 9,000 is being spent weekly. The females are spending 3,000. I do not need to change to male to automatically okay. So let's go to another state. Still from here. See why the females in Kano are not spending a dime. This automatically shows me that Kano does not have females. How do I know Kano does not have females? Because when I was filling that data, transport for anybody, the two males are the ones spending all the money. Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt, it means that there are no males in Port Harcourt. Because again, like I said, the I did not give any fictitious figure or a fictitious character zero amount for their transport. So it means all the females are the ones spending this. Let's see for Lagos. Let's go. We have 6 people in Lagos, and the females are spending 22,000, while the males are spending 4,500. I don't know what to make of this or what not to make of this. Could it be that the females are eating a lot during lunch too and it's adding to their bills? Or that the males have personal vehicles that that they are coming to work with, or yeah, maybe they have personal vehicles and the females are paying different transport fares, or maybe the males are using moleware and buses to get to work while the females are using Bolt and Uber. It could be any reason. So you see, this is exactly what it looks like. And you see, all these things we've been able to get, we've not even done visualization. So visualization is fantastic. It is very important. You're going to do it. But already right now we are seeing a data set. Just this data set we just put in figure coming alive. From this we've done sum, mean, max, sum if, sum ifs, count ifs. So because of time and I do not want to make the class very cumbersome, I am going to pause and ask for questions, and if anyone does not understand, I can go over it. On Monday, we are meeting again by 7. We will do VLOOKUP and some other things. We'll do more on that day. So I'm not even going to give any, oh yeah, I might. Maybe it will help you practice. Possibly, yeah. I think I will give assignments. I'll give assignments so that it would enable some enable you practice. So I'll give assignment. Don't worry, I'll send an assignment. But the assignment will be focused on what we've learned so far, right? I will not give assignment for VLOOKUP, but I will give assignment for count if. I won't give assignment for count ifs since I did not do count ifs. Count ifs is just like the sum ifs. It uses more than one criteria. So let me stop here and go back to class and ask if there's any question. Okay, so I see network has taken out a lot of people. Let me stop sharing. And right now it's just me and you, Eunice. So do you have any question?
Yes, I have question.
Okay,
So I've been trying to do the sum if,
okay.
but because my data here is not much, so I can actually calculate it myself. But trying to do the sum if, I sometimes when I add them together, I see that the sum of Port Harcourt is different from the sum of what I have on my table. And then I have to delete and try over and over again before I will get the correct one.
But has it worked?
Yes, it has worked, but
Oh,
now I'm trying to get how much the female spent on the data I have. What the figure I'm coming up with is not correct.
is it like can you share, are you using your laptop? Can you share your screen?
No, I'm using my phone and then my laptop to do practicals.
Oh, okay. So let me share my screen again.
Okay.
Okay. So for the you're having, is it some if or the some ifs? The
No,
plural one that
some
you're having?
if. I'm still on some if.
Okay. So for some if equals to some if. You say you want to do the one for gender, right?
Yes, for
First of all,
gender.
select where you have your transport, like your money like this, or you do the
Okay.
calling one I did. Select
No,
everything. Then make sure you do not leave anyone out. Select everything, or you do the calling one I did. After that, put a comma.
no, hold on, please. Select the transport
Oh,
fare.
sorry, it's not the transport fare you're supposed to select first. Oh. I was doing some ifs. It's in some ifs you select transport fare first. You were supposed to select the gender. It's gender you want to check for, right?
Yes, yes.
So select all the gender.
Okay.
Then put a comma.
I've done that.
Then it's asking you for your criteria now. So select
Yes.
the cell where you already have your criteria typed on. For me, it is where I have this mail here. So I'm going to click on the mail
Okay. I'm clicking the
and,
female. Okay.
and click on put comma again.
Comma. Okay.
Then now
Delete
you
the
need to
transport.
select the transport everything and then just close the bracket and press enter and it will work. Now this will give you a total of all the mails, whether the mails are in Port Harcourt, whether they are in Lagos, whether they are in Kaduna,
Hmm.
because you told it only mail. So it is calculating total of male totally. Now if I change this to female, it will give me total of all the females irrespective of state. It is where you now want it to calculate the females or males from a particular state. That is where some ifs come in.
Okay. From a part. No, no. Sorry. Can you go back again?
Okay, you see this one you did now.
Hmm.
It's you telling it, okay, go and add all the transport fare of the female in this list.
Okay.
Whether they are in
Mm-hmm.
Kaduna, whether they are in Kakanshan, you don't care. So long as it's a female, just
It's a
calculate the
female.
transport.
Okay.
It will calculate. That's what it has done for you because you gave it only one criteria. Your criteria was gender. Calculate
Okay.
transport by gender. It has done it
Hmm.
for you. Now, but when you want to now tell it that I want you to calculate transport using two things. Calculate transport by gender and by state. Because it is
Okay.
more than one, you
Hmm.
will not use some if. You will now use some
Some
ifs.
ifs. Okay.
Yes. That is where you follow exactly what I did. Okay. Now I'm going to do it without using my table name. I want to do some ifs now. So I'm going to
Hmm.
do equals to. It's good you ask this question since I'm still recording, I'm still streaming live. So I'll click on some ifs. Now it's asking me for some range. Remember that when we did some if, some range was not the first thing it asked us. It asked us for criteria first, criteria range.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are going to do some ifs, it will ask you for the money immediately. So I will
Okay.
select where I have the money and put a comma. Only after you've given it where the money is coming from will it now start
Hmm.
asking you for ranges. Okay, so my first criteria range. My first criteria range, I want it to be state. It can be state, it can be gender, it doesn't matter. But if you pick state, make sure that the first criteria you give it is a state. If you pick gender, make sure your first criteria is gender. So the one I did there, I think I picked state as my first criteria. So now I want to pick gender. So I select all this gender, put comma, then I'll come to where I have this gender here. Click on this gender, put comma. It's asking me for criteria range 2. Now I will go to state of residence, select all, put comma, and then click on where Lagos
A
State House
particular state. Hmm.
and then close it. Enter. You see, it still works. So it's either you do this one where you have to come here and click and drag, or you do the other one where you just all you have to do is call out the name of the table. Either which way it is fine. So I'll call this day 2. Let me name this day 2 and name this day 1. Move day 2 close to day 1. All right. So that's it. So I will be sending the video link so that you can always go over it again and again.
Okay.
For
Okay.
this class, we did um, a recap of everything we've done before. We did some ifs, and count if. Those were the new functions that we did. And I didn't want to do much more because we are still going to be meeting on Monday, which is not so far.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I don't
It's
want it to
better.
be
At least we'll do practical on this.
this one. Then
You are
when we
going to
now,
drop assignments for us, right?
yes, I will. And then we can now go over the others. So that was the only issue you had, right?
Yes, that's the only issue. And it's sorted.
All right,
Thank
so that's
you.
fine.
Thank you so much.
You're
Do have a
welcome.
nice night.
You too. Bye
Bye.
bye.